Hello students, welcome to the quick revision video of exemptions. This is your Mr. GST CA Vishnuvardhan. In this video, quickly we are going to revise all the important exemptions for your exam and the exemptions which you can manage on your own, that you can just go through that, but where certain detailings need to be discussed, that I will be discussing here in this video. First, understand exemptions. All the exemptions are whatever there in your chapter. For both inter and final, they are common, except some small extra points, all that stuff. So for inter students, when I'm uploading this, I will just delete all the exemptions for whatever related to final, and whatever is related only for you, that will be there in the video. And for final students, whatever, of course, everything will be there for you in the video, so nothing to worry. Now coming to the point, so first of all, exemptions, what I am doing is I am just splitting them into different categories. So first, let us assume the category is related to charitable and religious services, or the other category may be health related services, or next agriculture, and next education. Like this, the category wise I have segregated the exemptions, and of course the same thing has been done in ICA study material also. That is what I have followed. Nothing of my own sort, creativity, etc. Now coming to only thing, the presentation, all that stuff is my creativity, right? Now, first of all, in exemptions, you understand exemptions are RCM entries, whatever it is. Here, three things are very important. You should be careful with who is the supplier, who is the recipient, what is the nature of supply happening between them. If you are thorough with these 3 points, then only you can answer whether it is exempt or not, or whether it is taxable under RCM or not. So these 3 points very crucial, and we are splitting the entire entry in basis of these 3 things: who is the supplier, who is the recipient, what is the nature of supply. Now first, coming to the first category, charitable and religious activities. Sir, charitable and religious activities, if you see, if Section 12AA entity is what I call in our discussion. What do you mean by Section 12AA entity? The entity which is registered under Section 12AA of Income Tax or 12AB of Income Tax Act 1961. So if these Section 12AA entities are providing specified charitable activities, if they are providing specified charitable activities, then to any person who is the recipient, it doesn't matter. So generally, if they are providing specified charitable activities, again in the entry in detailings, recipient will change. Let us see that. So they should be providing specified charitable activities. Sir, what do you mean by specified charitable activities? Sir, number one, it is related to public health. Related to public health, please understand, charitable activity institutions, this Section 12A entities, if they are doing something without taking consideration, it is exempt under GST, there is no doubt. But if they are doing it by taking consideration, related to public health, related to public health, what they are doing, they are taking care or counseling for terminally ill persons with suffering with severe physical and mental disability, or persons affected with HIV or AIDS, person addicted to dependence forming substance such as narcotic drugs, alcohol, Instagram, PUBG, all that stuff. So for these people, if they are taking care or counseling, that is a specified charitable activity. Or sir, we are not taking care or counseling, sir, we are creating public awareness regarding preventive health, family planning, prevention of HIV infection, all these things. Further, they are doing what? Public awareness programs, all that stuff, for which they are getting consideration, that is exempt under GST. No sir, they are providing an activity of advancement of religion, spirituality, yoga, like Isha Foundation or ISKCON temples, etc. Or they are providing advancement of educational or skill development programs related to abandoned, orphaned, homeless children. This is important here. Physically, mentally abused and traumatized persons, or prisoners, or persons over the age of 65 years. That means greater than 65 years, and greater than 65 years, residing in rural area. If they are residing in urban area, it will become taxable. So for these people, the third point, please be careful who are the recipients. The third point, sir, educational or skill development programs we are doing for the following people, that is abandoned, orphaned, homeless children, physically or mentally abused or traumatized persons, or prisoners, or even persons over the age of 65, that is greater than 65 years, residing in rural area. For these people, you are providing any educational or skill development programs for which you are charging a consideration. Next one, with respect to preservation of environment. With respect to preservation of environment, the watersheds, forests, wildlife, all these things that they are providing, then it is exempt under GST. But not all services provided by this Section 12AA entity are exempt. Only the specified charitable activities, whatever we have discussed, they are only exempt. Anything else is taxable. For example, in their trust or etc., they are allowing somebody to advertise, put up SBI credit card advertisement, LIC advertisement, all these things, sir, they will become taxable. I repeat, not all the activities are exempt. Only specified charitable activities are exempt. Now there is one small clarification also here, sir. There are some residential camps conducted by this people who are providing advancement of yoga, all that stuff. Sir, for yoga training, they are conducting some residential programs. Let us assume they are charging for 30 days winter yoga camp, some winter yoga residential program they are conducting. For that, they are charging 30,000. In that, they will provide you training in yoga, and they will provide you food and accommodation, all these things. Sir, what is the taxability of this? Sir, providing yoga is a principal activity and accommodation and food are nothing but incidental for that. So, fully it will be exempt. No, sir, they are purely providing accommodation services separately, then it becomes taxable. So, if it is part and parcel of providing any advancement of yoga, spirituality, religion, then it is exempt. Composite supply. Otherwise, if they are providing it separately, then it is exclusively accommodation services, all that if they are providing, then it is taxable. Hope it is clear. Next, any person. Here, any person means we are talking about religious heads conducting any religious ceremony like marriage or any other housewarming ceremonies, or there will be naming ceremonies like that. Any religious rituals are conducted by religious rituals. Further, they are getting consideration. It is exempt under GST. Next, sir, not only that, sir. As I told, paying the professional fees to priest for conducting a marriage, 10 lakhs, all that, it is exempt under GST. So not only that, sir, here this people who are registered under section 12A or 12AB or 1023C, 1023BB, all these things, as a religious or charitable trust, what they are doing, they are providing the religious presence on rent. If they are providing religious presence on rent, please understand, if it is rooms per day less than 1000 rupees, it is exempt. Greater than or equal to 1000, it is taxable. So I have given here the table if you see properly. So for this, what if they are providing, what is the service? Renting the rooms. Renting the rooms means less than 1000 per day, exempt. Greater than or equal to 10,000, taxable. Sir, kalyana mandaps or community halls per day less than 10,000, exempt. Greater than or equal to 10,000, taxable. Sir, shops, sir, they are providing it on monthly basis rental, then less than 10,000 per month, exempt. Greater than or equal to 10,000, taxable. So that is another one. Next, sir, there are companies like Kuman Mandal Vikas Nigam Limited and Hajj committees and the state Hajj committees, sir. Sir, these people are conducting religious pilgrimage, which is facilitated by Government of India under bilateral agreement. Kuman Mandal Vikas Nigam Limited, they will conduct this pilgrimage to Kailash, Manas Sarovar, all that, and this Hajj committees will be providing this religious pilgrimage to Makkah, all that. Further, they are charging consideration that will be exempt under GST. Clear? That is what the concept. Next. Sir, the next category is regarding, sir, I am an individual, sir, I am providing training or coaching. This is important here. We are not talking about performance. We are not talking about performance. We are talking about training. So, I am a singer training you how to sing, and I am charging 1 lakh rupees fees per month. So, for each student per month, I am charging 1 lakh rupees. Is it taxable or exempt? Exempt under GST, provided it is provided by, supplied by individual. So, any individual providing training or coaching in recreational activities relating to arts or culture. Relating to arts or culture. Arts or culture means what? So, it can be dance, music, painting, sculpture making, literary activities, theater of any school, any tradition, any language. That is important. Okay. So, further they are providing training. Now, whatever the fees they are taking is exempt under GST. I repeat, here we are talking about training or coaching. We are not talking about performance. If I go and sing in a concert and if I am getting 10 lakh rupees for that, that is taxable. We are not talking about that. We are talking about we are training or coaching people in this recreational activities. And one interesting thing is, sir, it can be in any school, any tradition, any language. Okay. Coming to section 12A entities, sir, section 12A entities are also training, sir, coaching, sir, but they are training or coaching in sports to any person. That is also exempt. Here, the difference is, please understand, sir, first one, training or coaching in arts or culture should be provided by individual. Second one, training or coaching in sports should be provided by section 12A entity only, not by individuals. Okay. Next. The services provided by specified charitable activities, section 12A entities in the form of specified charitable activities, we have seen exemption. That means provided by the section 12A entity, we have seen exemption. There is no exemptions provided to religious trusts or charitable institutions. Nothing but simple, as we are discussing. Stay focused on who is the supplier, who is the recipient, and what is the nature of supply, and we are done with that. Okay, so category 1, specified charitable activities, over. Next one, we are going with category 2, agriculture related services. The agriculture related services, you can understand, any person to any person. So they are providing loading, unloading, packing and warehousing of rice. That is exempt under GST. Next, the loading, unloading, packing, warehousing of minor forest produce like agriculture, turmeric, honey, etc. to any person is also exempt under GST. Not only that, sir, storage or warehousing of cereals, pulses, fruits and vegetables. This is also exempt under GST. Now, the interesting point, already, sir, agricultural produce, sir, first of all, agriculture related activities means, sir, what is the meaning of agricultural produce? We should understand. Sir, the meaning of agricultural produce is, first of all, understand, sir, agri produce means something produced by cultivating the land, something which is produced by cultivating the land. So by the cultivator, and there should not be any other process done on that. If that is done also, only the cultivator should do, nobody else should do. Even if cultivator is doing also, he should not make anything which makes it lose its essential or alter its essential characteristic, or making it marketable in the primary market. Only he should make that process, otherwise it is not an agricultural produce. That means simple, sir. First of all, agricultural produce means should be cultivated out of land. No other person should touch it. That means nobody else should carry out any process on that. Till that, it is called as an agricultural produce. If anybody is touching or processing it also, that should be a cultivator. Cultivator also should process it in such a way to call it as still agricultural produce. First, it will not alter the essential characteristic. Number two, it is only, that process is only carried out to do that for primary market. Sell that product in primary market. That is what the concept. No, sir. For example, you are having paddy, you have cultivated paddy. Now you are taking it to the rice mill. In the rice mill, they are processing it. Who is processing? A person other than cultivator is processing. So rice cannot be called as an agriculture produce. Please understand that. That means that as long as nobody else other than cultivator is touching it, it is an agricultural produce. Even if cultivator touches and it loses the essential characteristic. For example, the farmer itself is doing tomato sauce in the farmland. Then he has extracted tomatoes and he's making tomato sauce in the farmland. He's making potato chips in the farmland, or he's making some jaggery in the farmland. Can you call it as an agricultural produce, or in the farmland by the cultivator only? No, no, no. Even if the cultivator is doing, it should not lose its essential characteristic. That is the key point here. Okay. So if anything is done, that means something is produced from farmland. If somebody else does some process, it is not an agricultural produce anymore. For example, if you take vegetables, sir, vegetables are harvested. After harvesting the vegetables, some other persons other than cultivator will do some waxing or pre-ripening, pre-cooling, all these type of activities. Now I cannot call this anymore as an agricultural produce, because somebody else has carried out some process on that. Okay, so that is what the point. Fine, coming to the point, sir. Coming to the point. Sir, agriculture related activities. So here, cultivation of plants, rearing of all life forms of animals, rearing of all life forms of animals except horses. Horses will not be treated as agricultural activity. So except horses, anything you do, pisciculture, sericulture, floriculture, horticulture, forestry, rearing of pigs, cows, cattle, buffaloes, sheep, even fishes, silkworms, all that stuff, every life form except horse, okay, that will be treated as agricultural activity. And now all the agricultural operations which are directly related to production of any agricultural produce, example, cultivation, harvesting, threshing, plant protection, testing means soil testing, seed testing, all that stuff, supplying farm labor is also exempt under GST. Any process, as I already told you, carried at an agricultural farm which do not alter the essential characteristics of agricultural produce, but makes it marketable only in the primary market, like tending, pruning, cutting, harvesting, drying, cleaning, trimming, sun drying, fumigating, curing, sorting, grading, cooling, bulk packing. All these things are agriculture related activities, and they are carried out at farmland, and they will not alter any essential characteristic of the agricultural produce. Please understand. So all these things are what exempt under GST, right? Coming to fumigation, here one small point, sir. Fumigation, earlier if you see, fumigation will be carried out at farmland also, at warehouse also. Earlier, if it is carried out in warehouse, there was exemption, but now there is no exemption. So fumigation in farmland is exempt, and in warehouse it is taxable. Remember that. Next, not only that, sir, if you are renting or leasing any agriculture related machinery, like along with vacant land or whatever it is, that is also exempt under GST. Not only that, sir, loading, unloading, packing, storage, warehousing of agricultural produce. That is why, see here, already there is an exemption for loading, unloading, packing, storage, or warehousing of agricultural produce. But rice is not an agricultural produce, so they have given separate exemption entry. Okay, cereals, pulses, fruits, and vegetables also they have given separate entry. Why? Because that is the reason, sir. If somebody else is doing something on that, it will lose the, it will not fall within the definition of agricultural produce, sir. That is the reason. Okay, next, sir, as I was telling, agricultural extension services like scientific research, farmer education or training, all these things are exempt under GST. Or any process, see, it is taxable when, sir, if it is altering the essential characteristics or making it marketable in the retail market. For that purpose, if you are doing the process, then it is taxable, sir. Okay, so that is what we have discussed here. So agricultural extension services, like, see, where it will be focusing on farmer education or training courses with Kisan centers, farm visits on farm trails, Kisan melas, Kisan clubs, advisory bulletins. Like this, there will be providing various activities and services provided by the agricultural produce marketing, board or committee. Services provided by Agricultural Produce Marketing Committee or board, whose main agenda APMCs are set up by state governments to make sure the farmers are getting various facilities for selling their agricultural produce and also getting the minimum support price whatever is needed. So for all these things, this board has been set up. Okay, so they are providing services. So these services like facilities, amenities like sheds, water, light, electricity, grading facilities provided to farmers, all these things, sir, this is exempt under GST. But understand guys, if any other service they are providing which are not directly related to cultivation of plants, all that stuff, and rearing of animals, will be liable to GST. That means, see, for example, here they will be renting out some shops or other properties for commercial purpose. They might be having some properties, so that they will be renting out all that stuff. Sir, that is taxable, sir. That is taxable. Next, if these bodies are providing something directly related to this agricultural produce, all that stuff, then it is fine. But anything else, any commercial properties for commercial purpose, if at all anything they are renting out, that will become taxable. Next, as we have seen, processed products like tea, that is black tea, white tea also. See, if you have drank that white tea, tell me please in the comment box. Coffee beans, coffee powder, pulses, jaggery, processed spices, processed dry fruits, processed cashew nuts, all these things will fall outside the ambit of agriculture produce definition. So all these things are taxable. But sir, there are certain things like whole pulse grains, whole gram, rajma, etc. These are covered in the definition of agricultural produce. So relating to that, it is exempt. Next, not only that, sir, if any person is providing intermediate production process as job work related to cultivation of plants or rearing of animals, that is also exempt under GST. And as we have already discussed, sir, there is a clarification here. There is clarification we have already discussed. Sir, milling of paddy into rice is not an intermediate production process related to agricultural produce or cultivation of plants, all that stuff. So milling of paddy is taxable. That is what the clarification given by the department. I repeat, milling of paddy into rice as an intermediate process cannot be taken as intermediate production process related to agricultural produce, because rice is not an agricultural produce. So milling of paddy into rice is taxable. Next, artificial insemination of livestock other than horses, that is also exempt under GST. I repeat, artificial insemination of livestock is also exempt under GST other than horses. Okay, so that is what the concept. So with this we are done with agriculture related services. So the next one, if you see educational related services, before going to educational related services, we should understand the definition of educational institution. Educational institution definition has 3 points, guys. Number one is nothing but the preschool education up to higher secondary school or equivalent. So we can say play school, preschool, all the stuff. Up to 12th, we can say that way. So I am calling this as EI1. EI2 is nothing but who are providing education as a part of their curriculum for obtaining a qualification recognized by any law. That means Indian law. Okay. So for timing in force, UG, colleges, engineering colleges, MBA colleges, all that stuff. So we can take that way. I am calling this as EI2. Next, education as a part of any approved vocational educational courses. So I am calling this as EI3. You know, there will be like ITA colleges, etc., which are providing vocational educational courses. Sir, these are 3 educational institutions: EI1, EI2, EI3. For our clarity, please remember that way. Educational institution definition has 3 points. So one is preschool up to higher secondary school. Next, any educational qualification for recognized by Indian law. Next, number 3, as a part of their curriculum. Okay, that means all these CA coaching institutions or these IIT exam coaching institutions, NEET exam coaching institutions, IAS coaching institutions, all these things cannot be called as educational institution. Please understand that. Okay, so that is what the concept. Okay, fine. Now, sir, here, not only that, one interesting point is, sir, they have also told generally central and state educational boards are also treated as education institution only for the limited. That means your CBSE, state boards, etc. will be there. No, those boards are treated as educational institution only for limited purpose of providing services by way of conducting examination to students. Apart from that, it cannot be treated as educational institution. That is why exam fees paid to the central or state boards are exempt under GST. Okay. Now coming to the point. So first we are done with education institution definition. Let us come to the exemption here. Sir, when you see the exemption, sir, what the exemption says? Sir, exemption says that I can divide the exemption into here 2 things. One is sales by the education institution, the other is purchase by the educational institution. If you see, there are 2 cases where educational institution is a supplier. Sir, where education institution is a supplier, they are providing any service to their students faculty, staff exempt under GST. I repeat, any service provided by educational institution to their students, to faculty and to staff is exempt under GST. Same way, these educational institutions are conducting entrance exams for the people who wants to become their students. They are not actually their students, they want to become their students. For such people, they are conducting the entrance exam, that is also exempt under GST. So these are the two cases where education institution is the supplier. Okay, if they are providing their services, then it is exempt under GST. So that is why I told you central and state educational boards are also treated as what? Education institutions for conducting, for the limited purpose of conducting examination to students. So they are charging fees, exam fees from the students, that is also exempt under GST. Okay. Now coming to next category, where educational institution is the recipient. Education institution is the recipient. Sir, education institution is the recipient here. If you see, sir, when education institution is buying the services of transporting their students, faculty, staff from any person, is exempt under GST. But this exemption is only for education institution 1, EI1, who is providing education as a preschool or up to higher secondary school or equivalent. For them only this exemption, transportation of students, catering services, security, cleaning, housekeeping performed in such education institutions. Sir, these are what? These things, sir, these things are what? Exempt only for EI1, sir. If it is provided to EI2, that means UG, PG colleges or any ITA colleges, occasional educational courses, for those people, if they are provided, it is very much taxable. Please understand that. So here, transportation of students, faculty, staff, important point, this please focus here. The transportation of students, faculty, staff, it is exempt under GST. And not only that, catering provided, including midday meal scheme program, all that stuff, that is also exempt. And if you remember, sir, school spelling, you just remember, sir, school spelling, S for security, C for cleaning, H for housekeeping. These should be provided in such educational institution. For example, there is any function, annual day program of school happening outside the college or school, sorry, outside the school, somewhere in the auditorium, there they are providing security, cleaning, housekeeping services. It is very much taxable. But please understand, these exemptions are available only for EI1, only for EI1. If at all they are provided to EI2, EI3, that is very much taxable. Please understand that. Fine. Next one, what is the next one? Sir, any service related to any service. This one is again important. Please be careful here. Sir, services relating to admission or conduct of examination. If education institutions, all EI1, EI2, EI3, if they are buying any service which is in relation to admission or conduct of examination. See here, for example, sir, for providing the admission or conduct of examinations, sir, there are input services like online test service or result publication or printing the exam notification, printing the admit cards, all that stuff, sir. Even the boards, educational boards or some institutions, EI1, EI2, EI3, anybody are paying to professors for setting the question papers, are paying to professors for valuing the question paper, answer sheets, all that stuff. So any service which they have taken, they are taking the education institutions on rent, they are paying rent for the exam halls, all that. Sir, any service which we buy, for what purpose? For conducting the exam. Sir, I am an education institution, I am EI1, EI2, EI3. What is that I am doing? I am taking services. What are the services I am taking? Any service which is in relation to admission or conduct of examination, those services are exempt under GST. So please be careful there. Okay, so that is another point. Next, coming to the next one, sir, another purchase is, sir, online periodical journals, online educational journals, all these things, sir. That one is exempt only for EI2. For EI1, EI3, it is not relevant. So that is only for EI2. That is where you are providing education as a part of curriculum to obtain a recognized qualification. Engineering colleges, UG, PG colleges, they are buying online periodical journals, online educational journals, all that stuff. Then obviously it is exempt. But for schools and this ITA colleges, it is taxable. Next. So here I have mixed up all the clarifications, also given everything related to education sector. And now, sir, normally these educational boards we have discussed, no, sir, these boards will provide accreditation to any institution or professional, sir. So for an accreditation fees or registration fees, what they are doing for providing that, that is not something provided to students, faculty, staff, all that stuff, so that is very much taxable under GST. That is another clarification. I repeat, boards are giving accreditation. You will be seeing on schools or any college buses and all affiliated to so and so university, accredited by so and so university or so and so board, like that. Such type of things, whatever provided, will be taxable under GST. And next, there was one more doubt here, sir, with respect to only government ITA colleges are exempt. That means providing vocational educational course approved, you told. No, that will be provided by government and that will be provided by private ITA colleges also. When it is exempt, sir, when it is provided by only government or also private, Sir, if you get this doubt, you should also get the doubt only government schools fees is exempt, like private schools fees is taxable, like that you should get the doubt. Sir, it is not like that. Both government and private ITA colleges will enjoy the exemption. Okay, hope I am clear with this. Shall we continue? I repeat, we are done with the entry. We are going with the clarifications here and there. Next, sir, there are residential schools, sir. There we are providing lodging and boarding, sir. That means we are charging hostel fees, everything. As I told you, any service provided to students, faculty, staff is exempt. Sir, this hostel fees is also what part and parcel of their education service only. So, lodging and boarding provided is a composite supply. So, principal supply is education, and hence it is exempt under GST. That is one clarification. Another clarification is there is this one. Next, sir, the next clarification here, if you see, sir, it is with respect to, sir, some education institutions are providing bundled supplies, sir. That means they are providing two dual qualifications. When they are providing dual qualifications, what is the tax treatment, sir? Please understand, when they are providing dual qualification, it is nothing but, sir, for single fees they are charging. If dual qualification, dual fees like separate invoices, separate receipts they are giving, then you will tax them accordingly. If it is exempt, it is exempt, recognized by law, all that stuff exempt. If it is not recognized by law, it is taxable. So now, for example, if you see, sir, you are joining a degree college where they are providing BCom plus ACCA course or BCom plus CA coaching, or in schools you will be seeing nowadays school fees, and they will also providing from LKG itself they will train in IIT coaching or NEET coaching. Correct? Do you remember that? So that way, sir, school fees is separate, IIT coaching, NEET coaching is separate. Okay, but they are clubbing that. Then we have to go with composite supply or mixed supply concept, sir. If they are charging separately, it will be taxed accordingly. But if they are, as I told, if they are charged separately, then will be assessed separately. But if they are mixing them both, they are charging one fees for both school fees and IIT coaching both together. They are saying 10 lakhs per annum. Then, sir, this is bundle but not naturally bundled, correct? So this will be treated as mixed supply. So entire package will become taxable because school fees is generally exempt, but these coaching classes fees are taxable. So this becomes mixed supply, which attracts highest rate of tax. So it will be fully taxable. Next, sir, in schools they are providing any extracurricular activities, sir, like for well-being of the students, etc., etc. For example, some small music or dance classes within the school timings or college timings itself. They are nothing but treated as naturally bundled and will be treated as composite supply and hence exempt under GST. So that is another point. Next, sir, IIMs are providing some programs, sir, where they are giving certification, etc., etc., some short duration courses, all that stuff, whether we can enjoy the exemption. Then they have clarified here, if it is a long duration program, that means 1 year or more, greater than or equal to 1 year, if you are providing that, then that will be exempt. But if you are doing short duration programs where it is less than 1 year, then it will be taxable. Okay, that is another point. Next, the canteen or mess facility provided by education institution to students. Sir, if it is provided by education institution to students, faculty, staff, obviously we have seen any service by uh, education institutions to student, faculty, staff is exempt under GST. So this is also exempt under GST. But sir, if they are outsourcing it to a different person and that fellow is running a canteen and that fellow is paying consideration to schools, then it is taxable. Or sorry, then we have to see catering services. We have seen no in purchases. If it is up to education institution one, then it is exempt. Otherwise, it is taxable. No, sir, that canteen fellow, whoever is taking the contract, he is providing catering services and he is charging full bill to the students only, then it is taxable. That means the catering service, school only providing to students, canteen, all that, exempt. School is outsourcing it to somebody, so they are directly selling to students, then it is taxable. Now, the school is providing food, further they are buying catering services from outside fellow. So when they are buying catering services from outside fellow, sir, we have seen catering services purchased by EI1 is exempt under GST. So if it is purchased by EI2, EI3, it is taxable. Am I clear? Mm. Next, sir, education institutions will be charging this for campus placements. This IITs, IIMs, what they will do? They will charge from the companies placement fees to come and do campus interview in their colleges, all that stuff. So for that, these companies will pay placement charges and enter into the campus for doing campus recruitment or drive, whatever it is. So such charges are taxable. They are not services provided to students, faculty, staff. Okay, companies are paying consideration for the education institution to do the campus recruitments. Next, the maritime training institutes and their training courses are approved by DG, Director General of Shipping. So all these things are exempt under GST. Okay, because they are also educational courses only. Fine. Next, a small point. I think I have this doubt somewhere. Fine. So listen, and one more thing, see, I have given for purchases by educational institutions, I have given a comprehensive example here. So once pause the video and just go through this example, a very good example where I have covered all the possible scenarios, all that. So mostly, so just check this, pause the video and go with this. Next, see, there is one more point here regarding catering services, sir. For Anganwadi schools, if you remember, Anganwadi schools are also what, educational institutions. Sir, Anganwadi schools are also education institutions. So please understand, Anganwadi schools are covered as education institution because they are providing preschool education, number one. And one more thing, remember, sir, these catering services taken by education institutions, EI1 is exempt under GST. No, sir, that is exempt under GST. No matter that is funded by any private NGOs or it is given by government, all these things, it doesn't matter. That means who has paid the consideration, it doesn't matter. Okay. So here, please understand. Number one. So yes, as I was telling, so Anganwadi schools are covered under education institution definition EI1 because they are providing preschool education. Next one, sir, for the catering services provided to Anganwadi schools, all that, sir, under midday meal scheme program, it is funded by government. Yes, it is exempt under GST. Or it is funded by NGOs, then also it is exempt under GST. So please understand, catering services provided to EI1 is exempt under GST, even including midday meal scheme programs, okay, where the funding is done by government. Not only that, sir, if any funding is done by NGOs, that is also covered, that is also exempt under GST, because the main thing is it is catering service. Okay, so with this we are done with services related to educational sector, and of course there are small amendments that will be added, so you can just finish it off. The next one is related to healthcare services. The next category is all about, sir, healthcare services. If you see first one, sir, veterinary clinic providing services to animals or birds is exempt under GST. I gave here the star mark, the important to all the healthcare services, not that veterinary clinic point. So don't misunderstand. Now coming to the healthcare services, sir, who should be providing healthcare services, sir? Sir, clinical establishments, authorized medical practitioner, paramedics. So clinical establishments like Apollo hospitals, doctors, nurse, like lab technicians or physiotherapists, all these people, sir, they are providing their uh, services. Which service they should be providing? Healthcare service, then it is exempt under GST. Sir, what do you mean by healthcare service? Please understand, healthcare service means diagnosis, treatment or care for any illness, injury, deformity, abnormality or pregnancy in recognized system of medicine in India, then only it is exempt under GST. Please understand that. That means, sir, if you are providing anything else apart from that, then it cannot be. For example, like anything beyond this, if they are providing, it is taxable. So these are just healthcare services, and also it includes what, services by way of transporting the patient to or from the clinical establishment. Okay, so that is what the point. And one interesting thing is, sir, it does not include hair transplantation, cosmetic and plastic surgery, except when undertaken to restore or reconstruct the anatomy or the functions of the body infected or affected due to congenital defects or development abnormalities, injury or trauma. That means, sir, because of, see, a CA student or a CA getting hair transplantation services will be taxable. But if any cosmetic plastic surgery done by actor or actresses, all that stuff, that is also taxable. But if any cosmetic surgery, hair transplantation, plastic surgery, all these things are done due to, sir, because of any developmental abnormalities, injury, trauma, all that stuff, so for restoring or reconstructing the anatomy of the body, if they are doing this, then it will be exempt under GST. Okay, so CA getting a hair transplantation, actor getting cosmetic surgery, all these things are taxable. But if you see in for example, Vikram in iMovie, or let us assume Vikram, a person who suffered injuries in fire accident, because of that they are doing some cosmetic plastic surgery, then it is exempt under GST. Please understand that. Fine. Sir, you said that treatment should be done in recognized system of medicine. No, sir. What do you mean by recognized system of medicine, sir, in India? Sir, what are recognized system of medicine in India? Sir, in India, recognized system of medicine means N Ayush. That means naturopathy, allopathy, Ayurveda, yoga, Unani, Siddha and homeopathy. So these are the recognized system of medicines. Apart from that, anything you provide, then it is taxable. Okay. And not only that, sir, what we are understanding here is regarding renting of rooms in the hospitals. Renting of rooms in the hospital, if you see the renting of rooms in the hospital, for that they have given a point there. The exemption, if at all, if the rent is paid, the room charges are paid for ICU, CCU, or ICCU, or NICU, intensive care unit, cardiac care unit, or intensive cardiac care unit, or neonatal intensive care unit, for all these things, no matter how much ever room charges you charge, it is exempt under GST. But sir, other charges, normal room charges charged to the patients, if it is less than or equal to 5,000 per day, it is exempt, sir. But if it is greater than 5,000 per day, fully it is taxable. That means you are charging 5,050 rupees also, it will become fully taxable. If it is 5,000 or less than 5,000, that means less than or equal to 5,000 per day, then only it is exempt under GST. Okay, so that is with respect to providing rooms in clinical establishments. And next, the senior doctors or consultants are coming and providing various services to the hospitals. That means they are not employees of the hospital, but they are coming as a senior doctor, as a consultant, etc., providing some VVIP cases, etc., etc., they are handling, or complicated cases they are handling. They are providing services to hospitals. That is also exempt under GST, because they are also providing healthcare services. Next, sir, food supplied to inpatients, that means who are admitted in the hospitals, for them whatever the food supplied, that is also forming part of healthcare service, exempt under GST. But who are not admitted, just going to the hospital to see the doctor, to see the nurse, and eat their idli sambar in the canteen and come, for them it is taxable. Okay. Next, the food supplied in the canteens which are run by outsourced agencies to outsiders, all that stuff, that will be obviously taxable. Next, as I was telling, food supplied to patients not admitted or their attendants, visitors, that will be taxable. Next, sir, ambulance services are exempt. Next, transportation of patients in ambulance, as I told you already, it is exempt. Okay, no matter under what scheme, that is 108, 102, whatever it is, that ambulance service exempt, sir. Remember that, that's all. Who is providing, private or public person, government, all that stuff, it doesn't matter. Ambulance service is ambulance service, exemption is exemption. Am I clear? So that is with respect to that. And next, sir, rehabilitation professionals, sir. Rehabilitation professionals providing their services by way of rehabilitation, therapy, counseling, all that. But these things, they should be provided in medical establishments or educational institutions or rehabilitation centers set up by central government or state government or union territory or section 12 entity. It is not like I am a rehabilitation professional setting up some rehabilitation center separately in my own office or in my own street or town, whatever it is, and doing this rehabilitation counseling therapy, that will be taxable. But this rehabilitation center should be located, so this rehabilitation center should be located where? In educational institution or medical establishments or rehabilitation centers which are set up by this central government, state government, or union territory or section 12 entities, then it is exempt under GST. Okay, so these are with respect to healthcare services. So the next category, if you see government services, in government services, what has happened, we have already discussed in RCM while discussing about RCM entries of government services. We have discussed this entry number 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, you can just go through that RCM video and again go through that. So we have already discussed government services provided to general public, everything is exempt other than A, B, C, and they are always taxable under forward charge. And for business entities, everything is taxable including A, B, C. And if it is a small business entity, that means whose aggregate turnover is not exceeding the threshold limit, for them any service provided by government is exempt other than this A, B, C. For other business entities, sir, if the consideration is less than or equal to 5,000 rupees, then it is exempt. Otherwise, all other services are taxable, like that we have discussed. So all these 6, 7, 8, 9 we have already discussed there. Now coming to the next one, sir, here the functions related to article 243W and 243G, if they are provided by governmental authority to any person, that is exempt under GST. Now please understand here, before going into the discussion, government authority and government entity, I give the meaning here, where governmental authority is nothing but set up by act in parliament or assembly or established by any government, where 90% or more, greater than or equal to 90% of stake is with government. Okay, and their main agenda is to carry out the functions entrusted to municipalities and panchayat under 243 and 243W, 243W and 243G. If it is government entity, the only difference is everything is same, but this is started to make sure to carry out any function entrusted to central government, state government, union territory, or local authority. That is what governmental authority and government entity. Okay, now coming to that point, see, first of all, regarding 243G and 243W, we have already seen in Schedule 3, if you remember. So I'm just putting all the things related to this Article 243W and 243G here. See, central government, state government, union territory, local authority undertaking the activities given, services given in 243W and 243G. It is neither SOG nor SOS. So these people are the supplier and general public are the recipient. It is neither SOG nor SOS. We have already seen in Schedule 3 the notification. Next, if governmental authority is providing this to general public, so we are talking about this. That is what we are seeing exemption now. Am I clear? So governmental authority providing services which are entrusted under Article 243W or 243G directly to general public, for which they are getting some minimum nominal consideration, is exempt under GST. This is one side of the story. To provide this to general public, these people are taking the help of private service providers. So these private service providers may be directly providing services to government or may be directly providing services to governmental authority. Okay. In that case also, sir, this is exempt under GST. Their services are exempt under GST. Entry 3 and 3A. Sir, whether it is 100% supply of service, it is exempt. One second. So sorry, listen here again. Sir, as I was telling, sir, government is providing services directly to general public or governmental authority is providing services to general public with respect to functions entrusted in Article 243W or G. This concept we have already seen in Schedule 3. Okay, this concept already we have seen in Schedule 3. The government directly to general public is neither SOG nor SOS. Okay, through notification, not Schedule 3, sorry. Next, the governmental authority directly to general public. Governmental authority directly to general public. That is what we are seeing the entry now. Entry 4 and 5. For some nominal consideration, exempt under GST. Next, any private service providers. Sir, let us assume we'll be seeing some government will be outsourcing the activity of cleaning and maintaining the roads to some private entities, all that. Sir, they are providing services directly to government or governmental authority. Then also it is exempt under GST. Here, there can be a possibility where they will be providing purely services. 100% supply of services. That is also exempt. No, sir. 25% worth of goods is also involved. That is also exempt. That means the composite supply of 75% service and 25% goods. That is also exempt under GST. So 100% service is exempt and 75-25 mix is also there. That is also exempt. So you should be careful with this limit. Important, please remember. Okay. So this is with respect to 243W and 243G fully. Okay. Next. Sir, government entity providing any services, sir, government entity providing any services where they are receiving consideration in the form of grants, as we have already discussed just now. Government entity is set up for mainly what purpose? To carry out something which is entrusted to central government, state government, union territory or local authority. So they are doing that functions, whatever this government is telling, they are doing this. For that, government is giving them the consideration in the form of grant. That is also exempt under GST. Next, old age homes. Old age homes, if they are operated by central government, state government or section 12A entity, for the people who are aged over 60 years or equal to 60 years, 60 or more, where consideration is 25,000 or less than or equal to 25,000 per month per member, that will be exempt under GST. Otherwise, if it is greater than 25,000, fully taxable. I repeat, old age homes run by central government, state government, section 12A entity, not any private person. Less than or equal to 25,000 per month should be the consideration. If it is greater than 25,000, it is fully taxable. Next, government giving guarantee to the banks or financial institutions for the loans taken by their public sector undertakings, all that is exempt. Next, this one is normal, providing registration or testing, calibration, safety check, exempt under GST. Issuing passport, visa, driving license, birth or death certificates to business entities is exempt under GST. Next, sir, assigning natural resources to individual farmers, that is exempt under GST. Next, sir, appointing the officers after the working hours and collecting merchant overtime charges for loading and unloading after office hours or during even holidays charged by the government, that is exempt under GST. So these are related to government services. Sir, with respect to government services, all that, there is an example also here which I have given. So just you can pause the video and go through this example. So one is Postal Department services, and then the Government of India, other side it is providing services to Vivad Private Limited, TCS Limited, Reliance, like this. Different combinations I have given, taxable or exempt, forward charge, reverse charge, all this stuff. This one also we have discussed all these things in RCM. Okay, so with this we are done with this government services. So if you see the next one, construction related services. Construction related services, there are 3 points actually. First, let us finish this fellow, the odd man out here. Electricity distribution utilities like Tamil Nadu Electricity Board or SPDCL, Southern Power Distribution Corporation Limited, something that way. Sir, what they are doing, they are constructing the electricity infrastructure, up to the tube well of the farmer in his farmland. So that services they are providing to that farmer or agriculturist, it is exempt under GST. Okay, this is something different here. Coming to construction services, actually the construction what we know, please understand here that in construction services there are two things. First entry is related to, first the exemption is only for pure labor contract, not for works contract. You know, pure labor contract means only labor, works contract means both material and labor they will be providing to you. Sir, pure labor contract they are providing with respect to construction, that can be original works or non-original works. That means repairs also covered here. To any beneficiary of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana scheme. Sir, there is a person beneficiary under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana scheme. For his house, we are doing brand new construction, erection, commissioning, installation, completion, fitting out, repair, maintenance, renovation, alteration, all these things. Sir, that is exempt under GST. Here, both actual construction is also there, repairs and renovation, that is also there. So please understand. So beneficiary of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, both original works, non-original works, both are covered. I repeat, that means brand new construction is also there, repairs and maintenance is also there. Okay, so that is what the point. Next, sir, here another one is, sir, it is not, so that point is related to focusing on the person beneficiary Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, both original works, non-original works, only pure labor contract. Works contract is taxable. So coming to next one is focusing on single residential unit. Any person getting his single residential unit which is meant for his single family getting constructed, here only original works, that means brand new constructions, we are not talking about repairs, renovation, alteration, all that stuff. Then if they are providing pure labor contract services to any person to any person, contractor can be any person, recipient can be any person. You are constructing my villa for 10 crores, exempt under GST, only pure labor contract, because villa is my single residential unit. Okay, that is exempt. Suppose it is in residential complex apartments, taxable, sir. If it is works contract, taxable, sir. If it is alteration, repairs or renovation, taxable, sir. Only original works, that is brand new construction, only pure labor contract, only related to single residential unit, then only exemption is there. Okay, so that is what the concept. So that is with respect to construction services. Here there is a small example, you can just pause the video and go through this. So with this we are done with this particular category. Next category is, if you see, passenger transportation services. Sir, what are passenger transportation services? If you see here, sir, passenger transportation service, first we are going through, sir, if you are transporting the passengers through air in economy class, that is important. Business class is taxable, but this journey should be either starting or ending from the airports located in these states. So here just remember the standing ma'am at Bagdogra. Standing ma'am at Bagdogra is nothing but just our standing ma'am code itself, what we have used in composition scheme. There in the place of Uttarakhand, here we are bringing Assam into picture. If your journey is starting either in Sikkim, Tripura, Assam, Nagaland, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Meghalaya, and of course Bagdogra. Bagdogra is a place located in West Bengal. In these states or in these places, if your journey is your journey is either starting or ending through airways, that too in economy class, that is exempt under GST. So Chennai to Delhi is taxable. Chennai to Delhi via Assam is also taxable. Only Chennai to Assam is exempt, or Assam to Delhi is exempt. So either starting point or ending point should be located there, and that too only economy class. Business class is taxable. Okay, now coming to here, stage carriage, contract carriage, all that stuff. So here the transportation of goods, contract carriage means you are taking entire contract on a entire carriage on a contractor, sorry, entire carriage you are booking. Stage carriage means simple, you are traveling, your ticket you are buying, how much ever distance you are traveling, that much you are, for that distance you are paying the consideration. Because of revision video I am not going into details. Okay, now coming to contract carriage, for example, your friend wedding is there, that fellow is booking a full bus to transport all the passengers. Sir, if it is AC, contract carriage or stage carriage, AC means taxable, simple. If it is non-AC, we should see the purpose. Why you are transporting? Why you are transporting the passengers? For any conducted tour, or for I am taking that contract carriage to give it on rent, charter or hire, or tourism purpose it is being operated, then it is taxable. Any other purpose, as we have discussed about the wedding. So for the wedding we are booking the bus through e-commerce operator under 9 subsection 5 means again it is taxable. No sir, directly we are going to the bus owner and we are booking the bus, sir, then it is exempt under GST. Am I clear? Contract carriage, non-AC, what we should see, we should see the purpose. conducted tour, charter or hire, tourism, taxable. Other purpose, sir, if it is through e-commerce operator under section 9 subsection 5, taxable. Other cases, exempt. Okay, so that is what the concept. Next, radio taxi always taxable. Remember that radio taxi means where the taxi is connected with the central office through GPS or GPRS system. So stage carriage, sir, coming to stage carriage, AC taxable as I already told you. So non-AC through e-commerce operator under 9 subsection 5, it is taxable. Or directly, sir, we are going to the bus operator and booking the ticket, then it is exempt. So you are traveling from Chennai to Hyderabad, non-AC bus, but you are booking that through GoAvivo, then it is taxable. No, sir, directly we are going to Orange Travels, buying a ticket directly in the bus stand and traveling, non-AC, then it is exempt. That is what the concept. Okay, next, sir, same way transportation of passengers by metered cabs or auto rickshaws through e-commerce. Generally metered cabs, auto rickshaws exempt, sir, but if it is through e-commerce operator under 9 subsection 5, it is taxable. That is with respect to stage carriage, contract carriage. Next, airline operators, they are operating their aircraft from a regional connectivity scheme airport where the consideration is paid by the central government in the form of viability gap funding, that is exempt under GST. Next, sir, as we were discussing, transportation of passenger any person to any person, if it is through railways, only first class and AC is taxable, remaining everything is exempt, like general class, sleeper class, monorail, metro, tramway, all these things are what? Exempt. But sir, if it is waterways, inland waterways is exempt, sir, and places between India, let us assume Chennai to Andaman, for any purpose other than tourism is exempt, sir. If it is for tourism purpose, then it is taxable, sir. So imagine from one place in India to another place in India through a vessel, but if it is tourism purpose, it is taxable. If it is not for tourism, it is exempt. Hope it is clear for you. Next, sir, if it is through roadways, as I was discussing, the roadways, metered cabs, auto rickshaws are exempt, sir, including e-rickshaws, but they are done through e-commerce operator 9 subsection 5, then it is taxable. Next, sir, if you see in government services, we have seen transportation of goods and passengers exempt under GST, that was taxable if it is provided by government. But in this entry now what happens, even though whether government is providing or private entities are providing the stage carriage, contract carriage, all these things, sir, it is, this exemption is applicable for everybody. That means whether the supplier is government or non-government, it does not matter. I repeat, we have seen transportation of goods and passengers taxable in government related services. Here in this entry specifically we are giving exemption for everybody, whether you are a government or a private person. These conditions, if you are satisfying, it is exempt for you. Next, and why are you traveling in that vessel, for tourism purpose or not, that doesn't matter. Why that is being operated is what important, guys. So normal public ships or vessels sail between places located in India, that is exempt, even if some passengers are going for tourism purpose, because predominantly the service is not for tourism purpose. However, services provided by some leisure charter vessels or cruise ships, predominantly the purpose is tourism, that is taxable. Okay, so that is what the point. Next, contract carriage, stage carriage, metered cab, all the definitions I have given, that's all. So that is what the concept of transportation of passengers. So the next one is with respect to goods transportation services. See, for goods transportation services, if you see here, goods transportation services, two things. One, how you are transporting based on that exemption is given, and next, what you are transporting based on that exemption is given. Sir, how you are transporting, sir? Sir, I am transporting through roadways. Sir, if you are transporting through roadways, it is exempt under GST, except it is provided by GT and courier agency. That means GT and courier agency is taxable. Individual truck drivers, all that stuff, it is exempt. Majority cases, GTA courier agency only will do so. That is why it is taxable. Okay, other cases it is exempt. Sir, no, sir, I am transporting through inland waterways, sir. Then also it is exempt. So this is how the exemption is there. That means you are transporting through airways, they have not spoken anything. That means it is taxable. You are transporting the goods through railways, nothing given here. So it is taxable. Okay. Now, sir, the point is, even though you are transporting through rail, vessel or goods, okay, sir, if you are transporting agricultural produce, milk, salt, food grains, flours, pulses, rice, organic manure, relief materials for natural or man-made disasters, or defense or military equipments, newspapers and magazines, these things if you are carrying, then it is exempt. So generally if you are transporting goods through railways, vessels or GTA, goods carriages or courier agency, it is taxable. But these goods if you are transporting, sir, these goods, it is exempt under GST. That is what the point I told you, how you are transporting and what you are transporting. Okay, fine. So here, what do you mean by GTA? So GTA means, here they have given a definition we have discussed in RCM also. Services in relation to transporting the goods any person providing by road and issuing consignment note. Here the word they have used is services in relation to transporting the goods. That means not only just transporting the goods, sir, but also various intermediary services and auxiliary services which are provided, like what, if you see here, here there should be given somewhere, loading, unloading, packing, unpacking, transshipment, temporary warehousing, all these things are forming part of temporary, like in relation to services. So these services are also provided by GTA. Still it is called as GTA because these are provided in connection with transporting the goods. Okay, next 21A, 21B regarding GTA, we have already discussed in RCM. GTA is having three types of customers. One is who are specified recipients, who are other than specified recipients, and section 51 entities. If you remember, there, sir, these two people who are not specified in RCM, exempt under GST, for them GTA is providing services. No, sir, GTA is providing services to people who are registered under GST just to comply with the section 51 provisions. Okay, then also it is exempt under GST. The same discussion we have already done in RCM entry also. Right, the next one is banking and financial services. With excitement, I forgot to give entry only here in the book. So please understand what is the entry all about now here. The services by way of extending loans or advances or deposits where consideration is charged in the form of interest or discount other than credit card interest. First of all, if you remember, we have already discussed about interest. Sir, interest is given in charged in two circumstances. One is I give you loan and charge interest, and the other is I give you time for making late payment and I charge interest. Sir, if I give you loan and charge interest, that is exempt under GST, sir. But if I give you time, that means there is, I am allowing you to make late payment, and for that I am charging interest. That is taxable, sir. That is what the concept, correct? Now, sir, we are talking about I gave you loan and I am charging interest. I gave you advance or deposit and I am charging interest. That is what we are discussing under this entry. So here, every interest, whatever is charged, whether it is home loan, gold loan, car loan, personal loan, house loan, anything, it is exempt under GST except credit card interest. That means if credit card interest is charged, that is taxable. And understand, here we are talking about only interest is being exempt, not the loan processing fees or documentation charges. All this becomes taxable. Sir, here it is not like home loan, car loan, all that I told you, deposits, advance, everything, whatever it is, you are allowing them to use your money. And this is not only just restricted to banks, etc., but mostly they are involved in this business. We are talking about them, that's all. Sir, anybody extending loans or extending advances, extending deposits, for which they are getting, you are getting savings bank account, fixed deposit account interest, correct? You are also allowing banks to use your money. You are providing services to banks. The interest you are charging is exempt under GST. So that is the concept here. Fine. Now coming to the point, the minimum balance charges. If you see, minimum balance charges, service charges, documentation charges, as I told you already, they are taxable. Next, anything, sir, they are charging interest on delayed payment charges, settlement obligations, margin trade facility, all these things, sir, these are exempt. So simple, the point is they are charging interest for allowing you to use the money, that's all. That is exempt under GST. Okay, so with that knowledge, you just go through the points there. So for final students, if you see, sir, there are actually the points like collateralized borrowing, lending obligation transactions for which they are charging interest or something like that, exempt under GST. Repo rates, reverse repo rates, all these are exempt under GST. Transactions in commercial paper or certificate of deposits, they are also treated as money and they are not chargeable to GST itself. If you are dealing with commercial paper, all that stuff we have discussed in supply chapter also, that point. Next, income from commercial papers and CDs, that is nothing but, sir, commercial paper and the certificate of deposits, when they are treated as money, then obviously the income generated from them is nothing but interest or discount, correct, for allowing them to use that. So that is exempt under GST. But sir, service charges or service fees or documentation fees, brokerage charges, I told you already, they are liable for GST. Sale or transfer or assignment of debts are nothing but actionable claims and would not be subject to GST. Schedule 3 will come into picture. Next, any charges collected in the course of such transfer or assignment, then it is chargeable to GST. Debt instruments like debentures and bonds are in the nature of loans and interest only, that is exempt under GST. Financial lease is a method of borrowing the assets. Sir, what about the interest which is representing in the financial lease? Sir, financial lease is where the ownership of the asset is with the bank, in essence, purchase of the asset and lend it further. Okay, therefore, neither the services are purely in the nature of extending loans, nor the consideration is financial lease is purely in the nature of interest. Thus, interest on the financial loan transactions would be taxable. Mark it important, sir. Financial lease, simple financial lease, the interest is taxable. Remember that much enough. Next, loan of one bank is taken over by another bank, then GST will be liable on the processing fees, all that stuff. Next, interchange fees on card settlements, all that stuff, sir, whatever is paid, that is liable to GST. Mark it important. Next, sir, securitization transactions by banks where securitized assets are in the nature of securities not subjected to GST, but for that they will be collecting some service charges or service fees or documentation charges that is chargeable to GST. Next, this point I told you, interest will come in two cases. One is for extending loan and the other is for giving you time for making the payment. Okay, so if I'm allowing you to make payment late, that is added to value of supply and taxable. If at all it is for allowing you to use my money and charging interest, then it is exempt under GST. Next, sale or purchase of foreign currency between banks and forex dealers, that is also exempt under GST, but the same people are doing to general public, then it is taxable. Okay, so between banks and forex dealers, that is exempt, sale or purchase of foreign currency, but it is provided to general public, it is taxable. Next, banking companies providing services to the account holders of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, exempt under GST. Next, one last point here is, sir, related to acquiring bank. Please understand, sir, acquiring banks, sir, when you're going and swiping the cards, the amount will be settled by a bank and they will charge some commission from the seller. That means you are coming to my shop and swiping the card for 100 rupees. I will not get 100 rupees, I will get only 98 rupees. So 2 rupees, let us assume the acquiring bank is charging commission. So here what they are talking is, commission will be there. On that commission, GST also should be there. But if the transaction amount, the settlement amount is greater than 2000 only, the commission is taxable. If it is less than or equal to 2000, commission is exempt. So I repeat, commission will be there anytime. But if the settlement amount is greater than 2000, commission will be taxable. If it is less than or equal to 2000, the commission is exempt. And if you see here, some cases like, sir, RuPay cards and BIM UPI cases, commission will be there, but that commission is not deducted from supplier account. That means the vendor account they will not charge. The banks will not charge from the vendor account. For the banks, government will make payment. So that is nothing but treated as subsidy. Simple. RuPay cards, BIM UPIs you are using. Sir, in such cases, what will happen? Sir, in such cases, when you are swiping the card, amount will not be deducted by the bank from the supplier's account. That means if you swipe for 100 rupees, customer, the seller, the vendor will get 100 rupees only. The 2 rupees commission, whatever the acquiring bank needs, that will be paid by the government, central government. So BIM UPIs and RuPay cards, if you are using that commission is paid by the government. So that is in the nature of what? Subsidy given by the government. Subsidy given by the government, not added to the value of supply, not taxable, correct? No, sir, that commission we are charging from the vendor only directly, sir, 2 rupees. Then settlement amount greater than 2000, it is taxable. Less than or equal to 2000, it is exempt. Everywhere commission is there. One case commission is provided by government, so it is not taxable. Other cases commission is charged from the vendor. So on that commission, sir, if the settlement amount is less than or equal to 2000, it is exempt. Sir, if the settlement amount is greater than 2000, commission is there, taxable. Everywhere commission is there. Please remember that. Don't misunderstand. That's also, with this we are done with financial services as well. This life insurance services, you can just take it as homework. You can just go through that once. That's all. You do that. This category 11 also, specified bodies, ESI, CEPFOs, all these things, and general insurance services also. You just remember this here, these points. Okay. Next, pension services, all that. So not that greatly relevant. Now coming to the next one. 1 second, guys. Okay. Let us move on to the next one. Sir, business facilitator and business correspondent. Sir, business facilitator and business correspondent, if you see, sir, if these people are providing services to any banking company located in rural area, it is exempt, sir. I repeat, banking company located in rural area. If it is located in urban area, it is taxable. Sir, for these people, if anybody is providing services as an intermediary, okay, then that is also exempt. Next, again, business facilitator and correspondent providing any services to insurance company in rural area, then it is exempt. So look at this. Sir, agent providing service to business facilitator or correspondent who is providing his services to banks. Everything is exempt here. Here, sir, this is only exempt, sir, but this is taxable. That means agent to business facilitator or business correspondent is taxable. Business facilitator to business of insurance company in rural area. My insurance company in rural area itself is rare. They are having business facilitator correspondent is rarest, and they are having agent, of course not possible. Just for your clarity, I have written there, so you should not get confused in the exam. So this is the exemption entry with respect to business facilitator and business correspondent, and I hope you remember we have discussed about the same fellow even in RCM. Next category, services provided to government. Sir, we have already discussed this entry number 3 and 3. If you remember that pure 100% services or 75-25 ratio also we have discussed. Next, sir, any person providing his services as a ration shop dealer and for which he is getting commission, that is exempt under GST. Any insurer who is providing services of insurance where premium is fully charged to central government, state government, union territory, that is exempt under GST. Next, any person who is providing some training programs conducted on which 75% of the cost, the expenditure is borne by central government, state government and union territory. So let us assume 10,000 I am charging for providing you some certification course on GST training, all that stuff, for which consideration 75% or more is contributed by central government, state government, union territory, then it is exempt. If it is less than 75% they are contributing, then it will be taxable. Okay, so this is important, please remember it. The limits 75-25, greater than or equal to 75 should be contributed by government. So those are with respect to government services provided to government. Next one, leasing services, sir. State Industrial Development Corporation, sir, we call it SIDCO. State government industrial development corporations or undertakings where the entity, in that entity 50% or more ownership, greater than or equal to 50% ownership is with the central government or state government or union territory, and they are providing this industrial estates, industrial plots on rent to obviously industrial units or developers in that industrial area, where they are charging the consideration upfront amount for long term lease. Long term lease means, you know, sir, it is 30 years or more, greater than or equal to 30 years. Further, they are charging upfront lease payment, that is exempt under GST. If they are charging monthly rentals, then it is taxable, sir. They are charging monthly rentals, then it is taxable. For example, 100 crores lease upfront payment, 100 crores they are paying, it is exempt. To pay that 100 crores, I am giving you 10 installments, that is also exempt. So upfront amount is the way the consideration is charged, then it is exempt, sir. That upfront amount can be paid even in installments also, not a problem. But monthly rental comes, then it is taxable. 30 years or more long term lease, that is important here. Okay, so that is what the point. And here one more thing is like preferential location charges charged here. For example, in that industrial estate, sir, for me I need that particular area of 10 acres. For that they are charging something extra, preferential location charges. Same long term lease amount, but because the area is different, I am charging more lease amount, that's all. So it is also exempt under GST. Okay, so that is with respect to this leasing services category. So the next one is legal services. If you see, sir, arbitral tribunal or senior advocate or individual advocate or firm of advocates providing their legal services to any person other than a business entity, like individuals, all that exempt under GST, or to a business entity whose aggregate turnover is not exceeding the threshold limit for registration. That means small business entities, as we are discussing, small bet, sir, they are not even liable for registration, sir. That much less turnover they are doing, not exceeding 10, 20, 40 lakhs. Next, sir, if they are providing their services to central government, state government, union territory, local authority, governmental entity or government entity, sorry, governmental authority or government entity. So there should be here governmental authority. Okay, yes, so then that is exempt under GST. For that purpose, I have given a comprehensive example here. And one more thing here, sir, individual advocates or firm of advocates providing legal services to another advocate or firm of advocates, that is exempt under GST. I will show you the example here. So look at this. So here, first of all, let us see this. You just focus on this first. Pause the video and just understand here. Sir, Jolly LLB, an individual advocate providing legal services to Imran Hashmi and same Sonu Sudan Co. Charitable Organization registered under GST. Aggregate turnover in preceding financial year is exceeding the threshold limit. Pushparaj Exports and Imports, sole proprietor, not liable for registration. Aggregate turnover in preceding financial year not exceeding the threshold limit. To central government, to another firm of advocates, or see here, the only thing what I want to highlight is senior advocate providing services to another advocate or firm of advocates, they cannot enjoy the exemption. But the only thing is, we can see, sir, whether this other individual advocate or firm of advocates, what is their aggregate turnover? Their aggregate turnover is exceeding the threshold limit. Now automatically it is taxable and coming under RCM. Okay, hope you understand that. I repeat, advocate to advocate is generally exempt, but that exemption is not available if senior advocate is providing those services. Okay, for senior advocate, even advocates and firm of advocates are nothing but another business entity only. So if their aggregate turnover is exceeding the threshold limit, that will be taxable, otherwise it will be exempt under GST. Okay, so this is important for you, right? Hope it is clear. So this is what all about legal services. Next, sponsorship of sporting events. The sponsorship of sporting events, if you see, sir, if it is for specified sports bodies, as we have given here, National Sports Federation and affiliations, All India Sports Council for Deaf, Paralympic Committee of India, Special Olympics Bharat, Association of Indian University, Inter University Sports Board, Central Civil Services, Cultural and Sports Board, Indian Olympic Association. So Pradhan Mantri, sorry, Panchayat Yuva Kreda or Khel Abhiyan scheme. Sir, under these schemes, if you are conducting any sporting event, for that, if the sponsorship services are provided, that is exempt under GST. Next, so that is with respect to sponsorship services. Next, skill development programs, please remember this important. Okay, you can just go through that. National Skill Development Corporation, all these people, the training agencies or assessment agencies, all this, these people are providing services of conducting the training programs, all that, it is exempt under GST. Next, anybody assessing the training programs conducted who are enrolled with the Director General of Training under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. So under this, anybody are doing the services of assessing the competencies of the people trained under those programs, especially the skill development initiative scheme and training providers. If you are training the if you are training the students, or if you are providing training services on skill and vocational training and education under Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gramina Kaushalya Yojana, that is exempt under GST. So these are related to skill development services. Please go through this once and just finish it off. Next one, a very important entry is a performance by an artist. Sir, any artist in folk or classical, artist in folk or classical of music, dance, theater, that means here western, all this stuff are not covered. Sir, here only see western music or dance or modern theaters performances or actors in films and television serials, all these things are not involved. Only in folk or classical form of music, dance and theater. Okay, so painting, sculpture making, all these things again will become taxable. Exemption is only for what? Exemption is only for music, dance and theater, that too only in the form of folk or classical, not anything else. So here you should be an artist. For example, you are a Bharatanatyam dancer, classical dancer, you are going and performing on stage. For that you are charging a consideration, we are talking about that. So that consideration, if it is less than or equal to 1,50,000 per performance, it is exempt under GST. Hope it is clear for you. Sir, if it is greater than 1,50,000, it is fully taxable, simple. Okay, next, sir, if you are acting as a brand ambassador, sir, you are a Bharatanatyam dancer coming and advertising him like Fortune Sunflower Oil or Freedom Sunflower Oil, all that stuff, that will be taxable. Brand ambassador services are taxable no matter whatever is the consideration. But if you are performing, for that you are taking consideration less than or equal to 1,50,000, then it is exempt under GST. So a very, very important entry, please remember. Next category is about entry tickets. Sir, entry ticket when you are going to museum or national park or wildlife sanctuary, tiger reserve or zoo, for that no matter whatever is the ticket, whatever is the cost, sir, that will be exempt under GST. Even admission to protected monuments, all these things, sir, it is exempt under GST. I repeat, without any monetary limit, whatever the ticket you are paying, that is exempt. Because in the next one, if you see next point, sir, you are going to any circus or a dance or theatrical performance, including drama, ballads, award functions, concerts, pageants and musical performances, sporting events, recognized or unrecognized, and planetarium. But these places, if you are going and you are paying the entry ticket, please understand, then it is less than or equal to 500, then only it is exempt. If it is greater than 500, it is fully taxable. Okay, so that is what the concept. Now next, sir, recognized sporting event, all that they have given just for your general knowledge, you can go through that. So that is with respect to that category, admission to any events. The next one, services provided by an unincorporated body. Please understand, this is all about whether you are an unincorporated body or an incorporated body, you are providing some services to your members. Sir, I repeat, whether you are incorporated or unincorporated, it does not matter. You are providing services to your member. What services? Sir, as a trade union, you are providing any service to your members, exempt under GST, sir. As a body, I am providing to my members a service which is already exempt under GST. For example, I am a Rotary Club. I am providing to my members some healthcare services, arranging some doctors, doing their blood checkup, etc., blood pressure or sugar, diabetics, etc., eye checkup, etc. So these services I am providing to my members, getting 100 rupees consideration from them. So I am providing healthcare services to them, which is already exempt under GST. So even if I provide also, it is exempt under GST. Next, sir, resident welfare associations, you see in apartments and all, the flat maintenance fees you pay, no, that flat maintenance, if it is less than or equal to 7,500 per month, okay, then it is exempt. If it is greater than 7,500, it will be taxable. Okay, now sir, this 7,500 whatever is it does not include any statutory dues, sir. Any property tax, electricity charges, all that stuff that is paid, that will not be added in that 7,500. Okay, next. We understand these associations are charging some sinking fund, repairs and maintenance fund, car parking charges, non-occupancy charges, simple interest, all that stuff, late payment, etc., etc. So all these things are services provided by them and it will be taxable in that 7,500. We have to consider them. But sir, if at all they are charging anything like property tax, water tax, all the stuff, if that is collected by Resident Welfare Association on behalf of the members, then the GST is not leviable. Okay. Next, GST is also not leviable on non-agriculture tax, electricity charges, which are collected under the statutes from individual flat owners, all the stuff. Next, if these charges are collected by society for generation of electricity by society's generator or to provide drinking water facility or any other services, then it will be liable to GST. That means government is government is providing electricity, water, all that stuff. For that, their government is collecting charges. Now that is collected by Resident Welfare Association from the members. It is not liable to GST because they are statutory dues. But sir, if they are providing the electricity from their own generators or they are providing their own drinking water facility, all that stuff, then for that they are collecting consideration from their members, then it is liable to GST. So statutory due not liable for GST, but this association itself is generating electricity or supplying water, collecting consideration, then it is taxable. Now there is a small like clarification kind of thing here with respect to Resident Welfare Association, whether their services are exempt. As we have already discussed, sir, 7,500 per month per member is exempt. We have discussed. Sir, what if Resident Welfare Association is aggregate turnover is not exceeding the threshold limit? Then it will be like a non-taxable person, even though the maintenance charges are greater than 7,500 per person. Automatically, it will be what? Not liable for GST. Even though it is greater than 7,500 per month, no GST is there because Resident Welfare Association is not liable for registration. Okay, next, sir, whether they are entitled for ITC? Yes, obviously, any capital goods or input services, whatever they procure, they can take ITC if they are registered and they are liable to pay GST. Now they can take happily ITC, no issues. Sir, where a person is owning 2 flats or more than that, sir, then what is the limit, sir? No, sir, if he is holding 2 flats, each flat is a member in the association. So each flat wise, we have to see 7,500 limit, not put together. Okay. So the ceiling of 7,500 per month is applied separately for each residential apartment, not for entire how much he is paying. So these are related to that unincorporated body. Next, in continuation to that, again, unincorporated body or any non-profit entities which are registered, sir, if they are providing any activities relating to their welfare of the industrial or agricultural labor or farmers, or they are doing anything which is related to promotion of trade, commerce, industry, agriculture, arts, science, literature, culture, sports, education, social welfare, charitable activities, protection of environment. Just like we'll be seeing, no, there is Tamil Nadu Society of Auditors, Hindustan Chamber of Commerce. Like that, there are so many organizations and entities where they are providing their services to their own members, either in sharing the knowledge or protecting the environment or for social welfare or literature, etc. Whatever it is, there will be charging like membership fees. Sir, if that membership fees is less than or equal to 1,000 per member per annum, then it is exempt. That means like very small organizations, small bodies or unions, associations they are talking about, where the consideration is less than or equal to 1,000 per member per annum, then only exempt. If it is greater than 1,000, fully taxable. That is what we are discussing here. Now if you see other services like tour operator services, the tour operator services where any person is providing services to a foreign tourist for the tour wholly conducted outside India, then it is exempt under GST. Sir, here the same way, if you see, sir, he is providing, the tour operator is providing services to a foreign tourist for the tour partly conducted in India, partly outside India, then proportionately we will give exemption. So what is the concept here, sir? For example, sir, 10 lakhs we are charging, sir, 6 days and 12 hours in India, Sri Lanka 3 days and 8 hours. Anywhere you are staying, if you understand, sir, anywhere you are staying greater than or equal to 12 hours, it will be treated as one full day. Greater than or equal to 12 hours. Otherwise, it will be treated as half day. So now, as a tour operator, I am charging 10 lakh rupees for in India 6 days and 12 hours. That means can I take 6.5 days? Sri Lanka 3 days and 8 hours they are staying. So 3.5 days. So total how many days? 10 days. For 10 days tour it is, sorry, 7, yes, it is 6 days and 12 hours. That means it is 7 days. This is 3.5 days. So total it is 10.5 days. Okay. So for 10.5 days you are charging 10 lakhs means, sir, what we should do? How much is the stay in Sri Lanka? That much you take exemption. 10 lakhs into 3.5 divided by 10.5. 3,33,333 rupees or 50% of the total consideration, whichever is less, that will be the exemption amount. So I repeat, sir, if the tour operator is providing services to foreign tourists for a tour wholly conducted outside India, then for wholly conducted outside India, it is exempt. Partly in India, partly in outside India means proportionately to outside India stay, we have to take the exemption and compare it with 50% of the total consideration. Whichever is less, that will be exempt under GST. Okay. So the next one, you see small entries, all that. Here I'll just focus on important points. Mm, Taking national permit for the vehicles is exempt under GST. Next, transportation of goods by air from a place outside India to within India, first place of India, first customs airport of India, that is exempt under GST. Next, postal department services of postcard, inland letter, book post, ordinary post, where the weight is less than 10 grams is exempt under GST. But speed post, express parcel post, all these things are taxable. Next, services by way of transferring the business as a going concern as a whole is exempt under GST. Next, any person renting the residential dwellings, we have already discussed it under RCM, is exempt under GST. There is one thing related to hostels also, we'll discuss in the next amendments point. Next, ISRO and Anthrax Corporation Limited and New Space India Limited providing satellite launch services are exempt under GST. Next, any person renting the vehicles to uh, one second ma. Hmm. Renting the vehicles which are meant to carry more than 12 passengers to state road transport undertaking. That means renting a bus to SCTC or APSRTC, like that, any state road transport undertaking, for them you're renting a bus, it is exempt under GST. Or you're renting any electrically operated vehicles which is meant to carry more than 12 passengers to local authorities, it is exempt under GST. Anything for transportation of goods, if you're renting it to GTA, that means renting a lorry to GTA is exempt under GST. Next, you're renting the vehicle to a person who is transporting the students, faculty, staff of a EI1, that is also exempt under GST. Okay, see here, for that we have an example for this point D, example 76. You can just look at this. This we have seen actually in RCM, renting residential property, all that stuff. So, and renting the residential property for commercial purpose is taxable, and renting the residential property for residential purpose is exempt. So here you can just pause the video and go through this example. Renting residential property to JK Shah classes to use it as a guest house or faculty, that is like a business purpose, taxable under RCM. But renting the residential property to CA Kapadia registered under GST to be used for his family residence, exempt. The renting residential property to JK Shah classes registered under GST to be used as an admin office, that is also taxable under RCM. Okay, so that way. Next, coming to renting the vehicles. So renting the vehicles, as I told you, sir, we are talking about renting the bus. Renting the bus, to whom you are renting? Sir, I'm renting the bus to a person who is transporting the students of EI1. Okay, then it is exempt under GST. That means imagine Rohit is transporting the students of EI1, Mumbai Indians English Medium High School. You know, this school is EI1 is purchasing transportation services, catering services. Do you remember security, cleaning, housekeeping services? All are exempt for EI1. So this is actually exempt under entry 66, which we have already discussed under educational services category. Now we are talking about, for that fellow, whoever is transporting the students of EI1, for that fellow, if you are renting the bus, it is also exempt. Sir, no, sir. To any other person, we are renting bus. For example, see, Dhoni is transporting the students of CSK, UG, and PG college. Dhoni is not a person who is transporting the students of EI1. So, Dhoni cannot enjoy exemption here as per entry 66. To Dhoni, Mr. Pandya is providing bus on rent. Then also exemption is not there. It is taxable. So, just I am connecting the exemption here because this is exempt. They gave exemption here because this is taxable. They are saying this is also taxable. Okay, hope you are clear with this. One second, just I'll make the example clear for you. You can just pause the video and go through that for a second. So just go through this example. Hope it is clear for you. Now coming back. The toll charges are exempt under GST. Sir, not only toll charges, without FASTag you are traveling, they are collecting extra amount, that is also exempt under GST. Overloaded vehicles, we are charging some extra amount, that is also exempt under GST. Transmission of electricity, or distribution of electricity, that is exempt under GST. Here there is a small amendment actually. So these services are now exempt under entry 25A. These are also exempt now. So not only transmission or distribution of electricity, but also the application fees or releasing connection of electricity, rental charges or metering equipment, testing equipment, labor charges for shifting the meter, service lines, are giving duplicate bills. For all these things, they are collecting consideration, that is now exempt under GST with the new entry 25A. Okay. Next, incubators providing their services. Incubators who are located in entrepreneurs located in the premises of a technology business incubator and science and technology entrepreneurship parks set up by National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board or the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. There the incubators who are doing their business there from that particular centers and providing services, that their services are exempt up to the turnover of any service whatever they provide up to the turnover of 50 lakhs is exempt. But there are two conditions. What are the two conditions, sir? The two conditions are the total turnover should not be exceeding 50 lakhs in the previous financial year, and 3 years should have not been lapsed. That means you can get this exemption only up to turnover of 50 lakhs and maximum that too for 3 years. After that you cannot claim that exemption. That means till your business picks up they'll give you exemption. After that you are supposed to pay GST on your outward supplies. Next, you can go through this are bio incubators recognized by BRAC technology business incubators providing any service to any person, all that stuff exempt under GST. Independent journalist or press trust of India, United News of India providing and collecting news to any person is exempt under GST. Public libraries providing services of lending books and publications are exempt under GST. Event organizer for the business exhibition held fully outside India. If it is in inside India, taxable. So business exhibition fully held outside India, for that event organizer is providing services, that is exempt under GST. Next, the services of pre-conditioning, pre-cooling, ripening, waxing and retail packing and labeling of fruits and vegetables is also exempt under GST. Next, National Center for Cold Chain Development. So cold chain knowledge dissemination. So NCCD is providing services, that is exempt under GST. Foreign diplomatic mission in India providing services in their capacity. Example, US Embassy, exempt under GST. Next, providing information under RTA Act is exempt under GST. Next, individuals, the sports persons, they are providing their services as player, coach, referee, coach, umpire, team manager, all that stuff. So remember, retweet the cup is the code. Retweet the cup. So RT cup is the code. R for referee, team manager, coach, umpire, and player. In those capacities, if you are providing services to your recognized sporting body, then it is exempt. No, sir, I'm providing services as a selector or a pitch curator, commentator, cheerleader, all these things. Then they are taxable. Then they are very much taxable. Hope it is clear for you. Sir, and one more thing is one recognized sporting body to another recognized sporting body, like Tamil Nadu Cricket Association to Hyderabad Cricket Association, Hyderabad Cricket Association to BCCI. All these things are taxable. Next, services by way of like providing these facilities of bathrooms, washrooms, lavatories, urinals, toilets. Also, we will be seeing no in bus stands or railway stations, etc. They are exempt under GST. And next, any person providing services to a governmental authority by way of water supply, public health, sanitation, conservancy, solid waste management, some improvement and upgradation, all these things are exempt under GST. So the new exemptions added and whatever there, the clarifications will be discussing. Right, continuing with the next chapter, exemptions. See, the amendments, see, there are some exemptions which are newly added, some exemptions which are clarified or modified, all the stuff. So we'll see first new entries under CGST Act, whatever the entries have been added. First of all, certain small things are there, not that greatly what difficult, etc, etc. Of course, you know, even if it is difficult, I will make it easy for you. The Ministry of Railways, that is Indian Railways, they are providing services by way of selling the platform tickets, facility of providing retiring rooms or waiting rooms in the stations, clock room services, or battery operated car services to travel in the platform, all that stuff you will be seeing. Sir, all these things, further they are charging some consideration, nominal consideration from the passengers, that is exempt under GST. So this is the first entry. Next, one zone or division of Indian Railways to another zone or division of Indian Railways. See, for example, there is South Central Railway. This is a zone. They are providing services to Southern Railways. This is another zone, exempt under GST. And again, in railways, there will be in the zone, within the zone, again, there will be divisions. For example, there is a division called Guntakal Division in Andhra Pradesh. They are providing services to Nanded Division in Maharashtra somewhere, I guess. So there is another division in railways. So one division to another division, one zone to another zone. For that, if they are providing any services, Indian Railways, it is exempt under GST. There is another one. Next, Special purpose vehicles. Now please understand, here I will just tell you, I will simplify this for you. For special purpose vehicles, certain people, certain entities will get a contract from Indian Railways where they construct the infrastructure for Indian Railways. So for constructing the infrastructure, they will not get any consideration. They will maintain the infrastructure. From that, they will just generate a revenue, all the stuff by way of selling the platform tickets, etc., whatever it is. So they will construct the railway stations or any infrastructure for that matter. During the concessionary period, that means maybe 15 years, 17 years kind of thing. So during that period, that infrastructure will be owned by that special purpose vehicle itself. Now, during that period, please understand, special purpose vehicle is the owner of that infrastructure. Indian Railways is using that infrastructure, right? So, for using the infrastructure, Indian Railways should pay consideration to special purpose vehicles. That means, I repeat, sir, special purpose vehicles are constructing infrastructure for railways. But during the concessionary period, that means for 15 to 17 years, the property will be in the name of special purpose vehicle only. So, special purpose vehicles are allowing Indian Railways to use that infrastructure. In return, as consideration, what they are paying some monetary consideration, as well as they are paying consideration in the form of maintenance of that particular railway station, as an example, or that infrastructure, whatever has been constructed by that SPV. So now please understand, special purpose vehicles are constructing infrastructure, allowing Indian Railways to use that infrastructure. For that, in return, Indian Railways is paying some consideration, as well as taking care of the maintenance of that infrastructure, cleaning, etc., whatever the maintenance they are taking care, Indian Railways. So Indian Railways is paying consideration in the form of consideration of like maybe monetary consideration, as well as maintenance of that infrastructure. This service is exempt under GST. Okay. So simple. What is that service here? Allowing Indian Railways to use the infrastructure built and owned by special purpose vehicles during the concession period, against the consideration of what? Against the consideration and services of maintenance supplied by Indian Railways to special purpose vehicles in relation to the said infrastructure, which is built and owned by SPVs during the concession period. Okay, so that is what the concept, that is exempt under GST. Now another interesting one, this is for you people, for students mainly. Okay, sir, any person providing accommodation services to any person, but here the point is, the value of supply should be less than or equal to 20,000 per person, and very important thing is that the stay period should be minimum 90 days. That means it should be greater than or equal to 90 days stay, continuous stay of 90 days. For that, if you are paying the rent, then it is exempt under GST. That means we are talking about mainly here hostels or any PGs, whatever you call, paying guest houses, etc. So to just bring a clarity in law with respect to this entry, in entry number 12, regarding renting of residential property for residential purpose is exempt under GST. In that, they have added a point saying that renting of residential properties exemption is not available to students in student residences or hostels, camps, paying guests, and the like areas. So you should come to 12A only, this entry only. Okay, hence exemption under 12A comes into play. So renting of residential premises for residential purpose is exempt, but that is not applicable for any places where students or working professionals, etc., staying. So for you people, come to entry 12A, where I am giving exemption, where you are paying your hostel fees, etc., PG fees less than or equal to 20,000 per month, na, exempt under GST. But only condition is you should be staying there for minimum 90 days. That means your stay should be greater than or equal to 90 days, and rent should be less than or equal to 20,000 per person per month. Then you can enjoy the exemption. So this is a good news for students and the benefit for students. That is what the next point. But the interesting part here is hostels, what they did, even though GST is exempted, they have compensated with by increasing the hostel rent, so that students are not getting benefit. If you are not getting that benefit, you can just complain to GST department also by March 31st, taking anti-profiteering clause into picture. Okay, so fine, coming to the next one, sir, 25A. So if you see 25A, this is nothing but electricity transmission and distribution utilities. The electricity transmission and distribution utilities, they are providing services by way of transmitting or distribution of electricity. If you see, there is an exemption for that. And earlier, if they are providing any metering equipments on rent, or if they are coming and testing the meters, transformers, capacitors, releasing electricity connection, if that has been kept on hold because you have not made the payment, all that stuff, and later on you made the payment and they are releasing the connection, labor charges for shifting the meters, service lines, or issuing the duplicate bills Point number 5, issuing the duplicate bills, etc. All these things were earlier taxable. Now they made a new entry giving exemption to these things. So these are also exempt now. So please remember it. So electricity distribution, transmission and distribution utilities providing these services are now exempt under GST. Okay. So that is next entry. Coming to another entry. See, the next entry is generally any person. Generally this we will be seeing in PG colleges or PhD colleges where students are doing research, etc., etc. Sir, for the research and development, what they are doing, they will get consideration in the form of grants. Government entities or research association in the university, college, or other notified institutions, they will be providing grants to people for carrying out research and development services. Those grants are exempt under GST. Am I clear? That is what the point. So you are doing research and development for what? For the purpose of research and development. Yes, the government entity or any universities or colleges are providing you grants which are notified under section 35 subsection 1 clause 2 and 3 of Income Tax Act. Sir, the consideration is paid in the form of grants. That is exempt under GST because you are doing research and development. So that is what the case. Here recipient is technically speaking not applicable. That situation will not come. Next, entry 66A, a new one. If you see in educational services, they have added central and state educational boards or councils or any other similar bodies providing services by way of affiliation. Understand here, this is only for the schools, not for colleges. So services of providing any affiliation for any schools which are established or owned or controlled by central government, state government, union territory, local authority or governmental authority or government entity, not even for private people. For government, simple words, for government schools, if we are providing any affiliation services, who are providing this CBSE or state boards, if they are providing any affiliation services, then it is exempt under GST, for which they are charging a consideration. It is exempt under GST. And there are various clarifications also added in this educational sector where I am discussing them here itself. Okay, see, PGCA is approving flying training organizations and flying training courses, and after course is completed, the certificates are successfully granted to the students in accordance with the Aircraft Act 1934. Of course, now they are replacing this act with a new act. That's a different story. Let us not worry about that. So this flying training courses, whatever are provided, if you understand, by FTOs, that is flying training organizations, are nothing but the educational services which are provided as part of curriculum, which is to obtain a recognized qualification by Indian law. So they have clarified that the services provided by these people are exempt under GST. Okay. So if they are provided by the education institution, yes, because as they are provided by the education institution for obtaining a qualification recognized by the law. So as we have discussed this. Next, it is clarified by CBIC that affiliation services by central government, state government educational boards are not covered within the ambit of exemptions provided to educational institutions, hence they are taxable. Same services to government schools are exempt. Just now we have discussed, sir, affiliation services provided by CBSE, state boards, etc., etc., to schools are not covered within the ambit of exemption provided to educational institutions, hence taxable. Same service. See, that means I can say this affiliation services provided to government schools, they are exempt. But if they are provided to others, obviously taxable. That's all simple. Okay. So that is what the concept. Next, again, the affiliation services provided by universities to their constituent colleges are also not covered within the ambit of these exemptions. Hence, that is also taxable. Sometimes, like you will be seeing on college buses, etc., etc., affiliated to so and so university, like that. So, for that, affiliation provided by universities here, it is not CBSE or state boards, and it is not government schools. Affiliation services provided by central or state boards or the related things to government schools only exempt, not any other things. Government schools in the sense, as I told you, that the school should be owned or established or controlled by central government, state government, union territory, local authority, governmental authority or government entity. Hope it is clear for you. So, sir, you are talking about affiliation here. See, now the point is the affiliation activity monitors institutions' infrastructure, technical power, prowess, financial liquidity, faculty strength to ensure it can conduct courses for students enrolled in a university degree or title. However, these services are not related to student admission or examination conducted by the institution, hence they are not enjoying the exemption. Simple. They give just what through affiliation universities or these boards will do. They will monitor the infrastructure or the faculty strength, etc., etc., how the college is, whether they are able to deliver the they are able to deliver the courses or not. All that stuff they will be monitoring. Okay, fine. So we have understood affiliation exempt only if it is by central board or state board or other similar boards to government schools. That's all. Any all other cases it is taxable. Okay. So that is what with respect to new entries under GST Act. Now the changes in existing entries, if you see earlier in this entry number 69, sir, there was NSDC and Sector Skill Council SSC, but here now they have just brought in place of Sector Skill Council, they have brought in this National Council for Vocational Education and Training. So apart from that, everything the entry is same. So if the services of any service in relation to national skill development programs or any vocational skill development programs which are implemented by NSDC or here which are under National Skill Certification and Monetary Reward Scheme. So just government scheme names, just remember that. So that's all those schemes. Next, National Skill Qualification Framework aligned with qualification or skill in respect of NCVET has approved the qualification program, all these things. So here the new thing is NCVET has been added. And next one, sir, any awarding body recognized by NCVET, the assessment agency services which are recognized by NCVET, training bodies accredited with an awarding body that is recognized by NCVET. So all these things are nothing but related to some skill development or training programs where National Skill Development Corporation or National Council Vocational Educational Training is coming into picture, or the awarding bodies which are granting the awards are assessing the performance of the people who got trained, or the training bodies which are approved. These people providing services are nothing but exempt under GST. So that is the change here. In place of Sector Skill Council, they have added this NCVET, they brought into picture. Okay. Next, what is the next one? The another small change is nothing but there is an entry where the training providers, if at all I am providing training to any students, for that I am getting consideration. Okay, under Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gramina Kaushalya Yojana under Ministry of Rural Development. So for this scheme earlier there was a skill or occasional courses like that it was there. Now they have just added the word education and training programs. So skill or occasional educational training programs are exempt under GST but provided under that particular scheme, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gramina Kaushalya Yojana. Okay, so that is exempt. So these are the changes in existing entries. Sir, now with respect to IGST related entries, this is the only entry which is important, and there are some amended entries also there that we will see. So now first, sir, what is this exemption all about, sir? What is this clumsy way you have written so much here, all that stuff? So listen, sir, this is all about importing a service. Please understand, if you are importing any service, and you are a central government, state government, union territory, local authority, or an even government authority, government entity, sir, or an individual for any purpose other than commerce, industry, or business or profession, then any service is exempt. I repeat, so simple. Look at this. A person outside India is providing services to central government, state government, union territory, local authority, or a governmental authority, or an individual. Any service for any purpose other than business, then it is exempt under GST. Okay. Now, other than OIDR, and one more thing, sir, for section 12A entity, sir, any service what they are provided for providing charitable activities, then it is exempt. For government authority, for individuals, for other than business purpose, exempt. But for section 12A entities, for charitable activities purpose they are importing service, then it is exempt. Next, sir, person located outside India providing services to another person located outside India, then any service is exempt. Person located outside India to any person located outside India is exempt under GST. Next, sir, this exemption is there, no, here this exemption we have discussed. This exemption, like any service exempt for these people is exempt, we have discussed, no, any service, but OIDR services are taxable. It means Netflix is located outside India, imagine providing services to a person in India. He is not taking Netflix for business purpose, but he cannot enjoy exemption, it is taxable. So other than business purpose and for specified charitable activities we have discussed, for charitable activities we have discussed, exemption is there. But even though for charitable activities or even though for other than business, if it is OIDR service, it is taxable. Okay, fine. So that is the point. Next, sir, supplying online periodicals or journals to educational institution, E82, do you remember? For them from a person located outside India, that is also exempt under GST. For this, I have given a comprehensive example here. Look at this. They're covering all the scenarios. Captain America from USA providing some OIDR services to Mr. Hanuman, India, registered. But this is OIDR service, so it is taxable. And if you see taxable under RCM, if you remember RCM, actually, whatever we have discussed. Next, Captain America USA providing designing the new parliament building to central government India. This is not business purpose for India, so exempt. Sir, Captain America from USA providing technical support services for an IT project to Infosys Bengaluru, registered, taxable. Sir, Captain America providing design of his residential villa for Mr. Vishnu. This is other than business purpose, so exempt. Sir, Captain America is providing online data storage to Mr. Tony Stark, a person in India, unregistered person. This is also taxable. We just now discussed no online OIDA services are taxable. That's all, for whatever the purpose. So that is what the concept with respect to that entry. Okay. So the new entry under IGST is nothing but if a foreign airline company is located in India and if it is importing services from its related person or other establishment located outside India without consideration. You know section 7 subsection 1 clause C read along with schedule 1 para 3, there it is a point like importation of services without consideration from related person or own establishment located outside India is supply, even though it is done without consideration. But if it is a foreign airline company importing services from their related person located outside India, then that is exempt under GST provided certain conditions are being fulfilled. What is the first condition? What is the first condition? So the first condition is that foreign airline company should be there in India providing some services of transporting the goods and passengers and paying GST. So that means in India this foreign airline company is a taxpayer. Simple. Next, number 2, the Ministry of Civil Aviation is also confirming that yes, this is a foreign airline company which has come to India under bilateral air service agreement with that foreign company. Like that, Ministry of Civil Aviation also should confirm. Okay, so there is the next one. And what is the next condition? What is the next condition? The last condition is nothing but, sir, Ministry of Civil Aviation is also confirming that Indian Airlines in that particular foreign company is also not being subjected to taxes for the similar transactions. That means nothing but, for example, sir, any UK airline company is in India operating and getting this benefit. In UK, Indian airline company also should be getting the same benefit. That means it is like give and take policy between the governments. Like you also give relaxation for our airlines in your country, we will also will give relaxation to your airlines in our country. Okay, so that is what the concept. So this is the new entry added under IGST Act. So now if you see there are important clarifications, sir. If you look at the important clarifications here, sir, important clarifications regarding Anganwadi schools we have already discussed. So we have seen this Anganwadi service already. Anganwadi is a preschool and catering services provided to them is also exempt under GST. No matter the grants are given by corporates or NGOs, all that we have discussed. Next, sir, is there any GST applicable on the eligibility certificate or migration certificates charged by education institutions to their students? These certificates are provided by education institutions to their students. You know, any student, any service provided to student is exempt under GST by the education institutions. Next, transporting the minerals within a mining area. So from mining area to this one not relevant, that we just you go through once, not worth enough discussing. GST honorarium paid to guest tankers we have discussed, it is taxable only. Next, sir, IVF treatment, sir. Yes, in healthcare services we see IVF treatment is taxable or exempt, was a doubt. IVF treatment is also treatment related to pregnancy which is covered within the definition of healthcare service, so that is exempt under GST. Next, selling the land after leveling the land, that also we have already discussed in supply chapter. After leveling the land, also land is a land immovable property, it is neither SOG nor SOS, but services like leveling the land or laying the drainage lines, all that stuff, that will attract GST. Next, this non-AC contract carriages by firms for transportation of their employees to and fro from the work, is it exempt under GST is the doubt. Sir, there they have clarified, it is like suppose if it is transportation done In predetermined route and predetermined schedule, then it is transportation service, it is exempt under GST. No sir, the vehicle is completely will be at the disposal of the company, they can use whenever they want all the stuff. That means you are renting the vehicle there, exemption is not available. Exemption is available only when you transport the passengers, but transporting the passengers means it will be done at predetermined route and predetermined schedule, correct? So if that is the case, it is exempt, otherwise is taxable. Next, sir, we have seen between places located in India through waterways, vessel, all that stuff. So it is exempt under GST. There they have used the word public transport. So public transport between places located in India in a vessel, excluding tourism purpose, we discussed no Chennai to Andaman, all that example. So there the doubt was public transport means is it operated by government? Private ferry operators, can we take exemption or not? A public transport means something which is predominantly for the purpose of general public, which is open to general public. It doesn't mean that public transport means operated by government, so it is not that way. So it is exempt no matter it is operated by private people, all that. Next, accommodation services provided by Air Force mess to their personnel. Sir, Air Force mess, Navy mess, paramilitary mess, all these people are providing services to their personnel. Sir, they are not any business entities, so they can enjoy exemption. Only services provided by government to business entities we have seen taxable. Correct? So these are the clarifications. Some other clarifications through amendments, all that stuff happened that we will finish off in this video. Next one is with respect to clarification of statutory dues collected by RERA. Please understand, actually in entry number 4, any governmental authority providing services which are in relation to Article 243 W1G entrusted to Panchayat and municipality, all that, so that is exempt under GST as per entry 4. Now the doubt was whether this RERA is a governmental authority, because they are also collecting some statutory dues and further they are getting some consideration. Is that exempt under GST? Then the department has clarified RERA is very much within the meaning of governmental authority, and hence the services provided by them by way of collecting the statutory dues is exempt under GST, as it is falling within the entry number 4. So the next one is related to the clarification. The loan granted by related person or overseas affiliates to an Indian entity. See, generally when banks or financial institutions or NBFCs are giving loans to any lenders, sorry, the borrowers, okay, to the borrowers. Mm, to borrowers sorry, right? So when they are granting the loan, just to understand the uh, credit capacity, the repayment capacity of the borrower, what they will do, they will just process the application, all that stuff, etc., etc. So they will charge, after issuing the loan, they will charge loan processing fees, documentation charges, etc., etc., and generally they are taxable. You know, interest on loan is exempt except credit card interest, but the loan processing fees, documentation charges, all these things are taxable. So here the doubt is, sir, when related person or overseas affiliate is providing loan to the Indian entities, sir, because they know each other, they are related person, or my own foreign affiliate is there or foreign entity is there in abroad and they are granting loan to me and I will be repaying to them. We understand whether there will be a situation where they will assess my repayment capacity or my credit analysis, all that stuff they will do. So all these documentation charges, loan processing, etc., will not come into picture here, so they will not charge it. Now the doubt is, sir, should it be considered as supply without consideration? Loan processing fees is not charged, that means it is free. So supply without consideration. So schedule 1, para 2 and 4, can I trigger and can I charge GST on this? Like that, the doubt was there. So please understand, these related persons will not charge processing fees from the other fellow, because they know about them everything. So there won't be such processing activity or administration things which makes them to charge consideration. So you cannot treat both the transactions as same. They are not standing on equal footing, and the department has clarified. So this is not something same like other financial institution lending loans to the borrowers, all the stuff. So processing fees will not be charged and it need not be charged also. Here you cannot bring schedule 1 into picture, you cannot call it as supply, it cannot be treated as supply. So not treated as a supply, so this is not a supply. So hence no GST. That is what the concept, right? So this is the next clarification. So the notes is clearly given here. You can just go through this. The next one is regarding a small one, reinsurance. See, actually, reinsurance services provided with respect to life and health insurance services, which are, sorry, not life and health insurance, life and general insurance services with specified schemes in entry number 35, 36, and 40. If you see, there is an entry where entry 36A, reinsurance is also covered. So, reinsurance, if you provide also, that is exempt with respect to the specified life insurance and other general insurances. So, here reinsurance word includes retrocession. So that is what the one clarification, nothing that greatly relevant. Yes, you can just remember that word. Reinsurance includes retrocession, that is more than sufficient. Now if you see there is a department, government department called Central Public Works Department, which will be developing and maintaining the public parks in government residential colonies, government offices and other public areas. And they are also regarding maintaining their duties also, like regarding, see, this community assets, urban forestry and protection of environment, promotion of ecological aspects, all these things, these are generally functions interested under article 243G and 243W. So regarding this activity, see, this is nothing but an activity which is covered under article 243G or W. So for this, government is providing various services. Sir, not only government providing services here, for government to government, that means, for example, the maintenance of parks, etc., etc., or the horticulture works, etc. These things are outsourced by this CPWD, the department, to outsiders, the private people. So they are providing either pure service or composite supply, where you know that 75-25 ratio, 75% service and 25% worth goods can be supplied, all that. So in such way, if anybody is providing services by way of even horticulture and horticulture works to CPWD, sir, these are also nothing but covered under very much entry number 3 and 3A. So it is exempt under GST. So in short, any private person, sir, what they are doing, they are providing services to CPWD. What is the service? Services with respect to horticulture and the other works, horticulture and related works. So there, because it is covered under 243W and 243G, such activities, if you are providing to government departments, all that stuff, so government is exempt under GST. So this is exempt. So simple. If you remember, we have discussed in exemptions also maintenance of street lights, all that, such type of services we are providing to government, all that. So here the clarification is regarding, sir, Central Public Works Department is outsourcing a work where people are providing services by way of doing this horticulture or horticulture related works to CPWD, is exempt under GST. Okay, right. So that is what next clarification. The another clarification is with respect to DMFT. So DMFT is nothing but District Mineral Foundation Trust. So this trust generally is for the purpose of, sir, this is set up normally because of the mining, etc., etc., the people who are living in the surrounding areas, for their welfare. So for the benefit of persons and the areas affected due to mining related operations, sir, DMFT has been set up. Their main responsibility is to take care of providing drinking water and environment protection, healthcare facilities, education, welfare of women and children over there, and supply of medical equipment. Sir, this has been set up by state governments. These are being set up by state governments, hence they are called as governmental authorities. Okay. So whatever the exemptions available for every governmental authority, the same things are also available to these people also. The same eligible for same exemptions which are available to any other governmental authority. Okay. So any services or supplies made normally through this DMF fund, see, they are providing this without consideration. They have the funds. The funds may be provided by the government, all that stuff. So they have the funds and they are providing services from those funds, or they are providing some supplies out of those funds. For that, they are not charging any consideration from the beneficiaries. So they are not at all supply. Okay, so that is another point. So whatever the supplies they are providing is not for any consideration from the beneficiaries. So whatever they are supplying is not a supply. Second thing, sir, they should be treated as governmental authority for the purpose of this GST. Whatever exemptions available, wherever the exemptions available for governmental authority, the same exemptions are also available for this particular people. Okay, so that is what the next clarification all about. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this lecture, and exemptions very easy and important chapter. Questions also will be easy only. So go through this video and hope this video was helpful for you. See you all in another video with another chapter. Enjoy your reading and enjoy your preparation. Wishing you all the best. So see you all in another video. This is your Mr. GST signing off. Jai Hind.